Hey everyone, I got some really good news. I've met a girl. I'm so excited. She's got really big headlights. The upholstery matches the paint. And she lets me put stuff in her rear. Her name is Christine. And I think I'm in love. Listen, shitters. This review, comparison between Christine the book and Christine the movie, there's a lot of freaking... Spoilers! Yes, spoilers. So, you listen, shitter. I warned ya. Don't be complaining. Okay, listen up, you shitters. Christine's all fixed up and she is prime and primo. She is moving fast. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to change up my review styles, you know? So, today, just one second. Today I am going to be doing a review for the Christine book written by Stephen King and comparing it to the Christine movie directed by John Carpenter. Two people that are not shitters in my opinion. Anyways, first let's talk about the book, Stephen King's Christine. So we're gonna start with, okay, I can't see shit right now. I gotta put my glasses back on. Anyways, okay, so Stephen King, Christine. It is roughly about 500 pages, and it was released in, let me see here. It was released in 1983. 1983. It, obviously, we know what it is about. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Christine's about. It's about a car that kills people. Little did I know is the book is actually, it doesn't come right out and say whether or not Christine is solely alive and killing people, or if it's being possessed by a ghost of its former owner. Because, okay, so the way the book plays out is Arnie Cunningham finds a car, a beat-up old 1958 Plymouth Fury. He finds it, fixes it up, but there's kind of like hints as to the car fixing itself. The odometer goes backwards and stuff like that. The first part of the book is told in the first person's perspective from Dennis, who is a friend of Arnie's, and he is there when Arnie finds Christine. And that's like a good 168 pages. You know, and it's basically just kind of Dennis's perspective of Arnie changing over time as he kind of falls in love with Christine, basically. And then after we get to Dennis getting into an accident, in a football accident, it cuts to Arnie. But it's not written in the first-person perspective of Arnie. It's written in the third-person perspective, just so we can kind of get other people's perspectives as well, like Arnie's parents, who are like scared for his like changes and everything like that. And then Arnie like falls in love with a girl, Lee Cabot. So there's like those kind of perspectives. And because we're kind of just following Arnie, we never really, we don't I don't know, I guess we do in the book. I'm thinking more the movie, but, because in the book, in the second part is when Christine actually kills a few people, and Arnie is not there. Arnie is never in the car. He's either in bed at home, or he's in, like he's in a chess tournament. The book takes place in, Pittsburgh. It takes place in Pittsburgh. Does it? No. Sorry, no. No, it doesn't take place in Pittsburgh. It takes place in... What the hell does it take place? Philadelphia? Pittsburgh? Yeah, Pittsburgh. Where did Dawn of the Dead, George Romero, take place? Was it Pittsburgh? Please answer in the comments, because I can't remember. Because there's the Monroe Mall in here. There's the Horlicks University and everything like that. So, he even actually says... he acknowledges, says, at the beginning of the book, let's see if I can find it, this is for George Romero and Chris Forrest Romero and the Berg. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah. Okay, and then the third part of the book. So Christine gets destroyed by a bunch of bullies, Buddy Repperton and stuff like that. So then the third part of the book is basically, it's the smallest part, but it's basically winding down the story to Christine on her like rampage, cleaning up anyone that kind of gets in her way. But the thing about the book is that the person that previously owned the car passes away, Roland LeBay. He passes away. Dennis kind of investigates the past history of the car with his brother, George LeBay. Kind of tells him about people that have died in the car. And like, there's always this like weird decaying smell in the car, and you find out that Roland LeBay is basically, he's in the car, like he's dead, but he's basically possessing Arnie and turning Arnie into himself, like into LeBay. He's like kind of changing his clothes and changing his style and the way he talks. He's turning into LeBay, but LeBay is possessing him. So that's why I say, like, it's not really for sure if it's the car that's possessed or if it's just being possessed by LeBay's spirit. And you don't really know that all the way through the book. You don't, like, all the way until the end. You do not know if whether it's the car or not. So I felt it was interesting. I thought that was neat. I'm not sure if I wasn't a huge fan of the ending. The ending Dennis and Lee, they've fallen in love, and Arnie's pretty much lost. Like, they can't get him back, kind of thing. But he gets a big pink septic tank, and like has a big showdown at Darnell's garage, which is where the car used to be kept. And so it's when I start talking about the movie, you'll see some similarities, but there is some differences and stuff like that, because it does bring in Roland LeBay's possessed ghost kind of thing. So that's the book. I really enjoyed it. I just wasn't sure about the ending. I also didn't like the fact that it didn't really come out and say whether Christine is actually possessed or alive. But that's the book. So the movie, the Blu-ray that I got, is the German edition. The only difference is basically a big giant stamp there that says 16, and the back's written in German. The special features are all the same. There's like 25 minutes of bonus features, which I'll talk a little bit about in a second. And then there's like some featurettes, interviews with John Carpenter and the writer and everything like that. So the differences between the book and between the movie. The biggest difference is they have completely written out Roland LeBay's character. He is no longer part of the story. He is only mentioned as being the previous owner in that he died in his car. George LeBay takes over kind of a little bit of his character and sells the car to Arnie. You know right away that Christine is basically evil because it shows her like her birth, and she's already hurting people in the manufacturing line. So you know Christine is evil right away. The thing that I felt that didn't really work in the movie is that they underdeveloped the relationships between Lee and Arnie and between Lee and Dennis. And then when we get near the end, Lee and Dennis kind of come together, much like the book, to get rid of the car. But there's no logical jump for them to realize that the car is possessed. There isn't. In the movie, they think it's Arnie doing the one that's like driving and doing the killing and everything. But then all of a sudden, the scene switches where it's like, oh, it's the car doing it. They know right away. But there's no explanation why they know. And the big showdown does happen in Darnell's garage, but it happens with a bulldozer, which I thought was way better than a big giant pink shitter. That was cool, but definitely the relationships were hurt. And if you watch the deleted scenes, 25 minutes of deleted scenes, most of those scenes that were cut were actually the development of the relationships. You actually can see Dennis and Lee's relationship develop as Arnie starts getting worse and changing his character. So that, I don't know why they decided to cut that, because it really actually hurts it kind of at the end. Another thing, the girl that plays Lee, Alexandra Paul, yeah, she was a little iffy. She was a little new to acting back then, so she wasn't really kind of like acting in the movie kind of Hollywood type bubble. So I wasn't really like keen on her. And I wrote down a couple other things on my phone as I was watching it because I wanted to remember what was different. Not as developed. Oh yeah, that's that another thing. If they actually followed the book takes place in Pittsburgh, so there's like snow and everything like that. So they kind of killed off some characters, but they killed them off like chasing them in a car, and they have a big like chase through snowbanks and stuff like that. But in the movie, because it takes place in California, they have that awesome scene where he chases down like Buddy Repperton and they crashes into the gas station, and then the car catches fire and it's like driving down the road on fire with John Carpenter's awesome music and the typical John Carpenter sound. So you wouldn't have that if they followed the book. So that's cool. I'm glad they actually changed that up. And why do they suspect Christine in the movie? It's not really explained. Bulldozer instead of a shit truck. I've already mentioned that. Death of Arnie. The death of Arnie makes no sense in the movie. He's actually in the car in the showdown, and obviously it's Christine doing the driving, but Arnie's kind of like completely gone by then. But then Christine crashes and he flies out the windshield and like dies. Why would Christine allow that? She was in love with Arnie. There's no reason why she would allow Arnie to be killed that way. That to me did not make sense. And the ending is different. The ending it ends with at the vehicle being crushed, and then it kind of moves a little bit. But the book ending, because it's in the first person perspective for a majority of the book is in the first person perspective with Dennis. It's him writing the story down, but he's writing the story down because he heard after they take care of Christine and they bunch her up into a block. He reads in a paper that one of the guys that wrecked Arnie's car, Christine, was found murdered in like California at a drive-in, hit and run, like hit by a car, and he suspects that Christine is back and it's coming to get him, so he wants to write everything down. So that was kind of a cool, ominous ending. A little more ominous than the ending of the movie. But yeah, I think that's really a majority of the differences. There's a few here and there. Not too much different. Just give me a second here. I'm going to just stop the recording because it's going to run out of time. All right. Start recording again. Okay, so that's really the differences between the book. I would say if you watched the movie but haven't read the book, you can still really get a lot of enjoyment out of the book because there is enough different that you're not going to predict everything that happens, unless of course you watch this video and I've spoiled everything for you, but I did give you a warning at the beginning. Whereas the other way, if you read the book but haven't seen John Carpenter's movie, then I found it really interesting reading the book and then immediately watching the movie and seeing the changes, and then you're kind of like wondering, why did they change this or why did they change that? The writer of the movie, Bill Phillips, yes, he wrote the screenplay. He mentions that Christine book is like a 20-hour experience. Christine movie is a 2-hour experience. So there has to be some cutting down, right? So they felt that the Roland LeBay character, they didn't really want to focus on that as being, potentially being possessed by a ghost. They wanted to right out say, yes, Christine is possessed. It is Christine that's doing the killing. So I thought, personally, I actually like that. I found that edition was way better than how Stephen King did it in the book. But yeah, so if you're wondering about the German Blu-ray, I don't know why you would buy it anyways, but I bought it because at the time it was not available in North America, but it then immediately pretty much came right out after I bought it. They were like, hey, Michael bought it on German Blu-ray, let's release it now. Ya bastards! But everything's the same. Whoa, phone is ringing, and I'm gonna cancel that for a second. Sorry about that. And hey, this is live, people. This is live. Mistakes happen, right? Everything else, but the Blu-ray is exactly the same as the North American release. It's region free. Had no issues there. It has the same featurettes. There's like one featurette that's about 24 minutes, I think, maybe, roughly around there. Another one that's maybe like 10 minutes, and then another one that's 7 minutes. And it kind of just talks about the development of the movie. There actually is a pretty funny little bit where John Carpenter he saw the poster for Christine, and it was like It was like John Carpenter presents Christine. Directed by John Carpenter, music by John Carpenter, and he's like Jesus, man. There's like my name is all over this. So, like, arrogant much? So he actually decided from here on he was going to use pseudonyms. So like John T. Chance, I think he used one time. Some other name too. I can't remember other names that he used. Yeah. So that's it. That's Christine. Those are the big differences between the two. But like I said, you can definitely enjoy either one. Christine the movie is fun. The book is a really good read. There is some issues, but I mean, there is some issues with the movie as well, right? So that is my first ever YouTube video of comparing a book to a movie, and it was really good. I've written an article on Mind of Tatlock where I compared Robert Bloch's Psycho to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. That was a lot of fun to write as well. If you want to check it out, I'll put the link. And yeah, that's it. I didn't really have an ending again because I did not prepare myself. So maybe what I'll do is I'll get back in character. Listen up, you shitters. That's the end of this cockamamie review. I hope you enjoy it. Because you ain't getting another one for a little bit of while, you shitters. Let's put another one up the tramp's ass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Have a good day. Ow.